Good afternoon, guys. It's Dericka from Virginia. I'm here to answer some questions regarding the video clips and the passage that we read for this week's course. So to begin, the first question is, are the sessions you watched similar to what you imagine a counseling session to be? Why or why not? To me personally, from movies, from talking to guidance counselors, yes, it was exactly it. It was a nice close atmosphere where you had your one-on-one time with your counselor and the client. I liked how each counselor used different aspects. Each video was different in every way. I would relate that the whole atmosphere, as far as you have your client on one side, you have your counselor on this side, and it's face-to-face communication. It was exactly what I expected. I didn't expect anything less. For question 2, from your readings in chapter 8, what skills and counselor characteristics did you notice? A few skills that I noticed was basically paying attention. Every counselor in each video, they paid attention. And when they were paying attention, I also found out that they were listening. They allowed the client to fully elaborate and express themselves without interrupting so quickly or without trying to cut them off or bombarding them with questions. It was more so the client was able to basically explain how they feel, and then the counselor had the opportunity to either have them elaborate for more understanding, or either prompt them with a question to have them go deeper into the next step of their session. Another skill I noticed was checking for understanding. Before I started watching the video, I did not read the passage. I watched the video, then I read the passage, and I realized that a lot of the questions that the counselors were asking to the clients was them basically checking their understanding. So them going back and forth with the client, asking them, so this is how you're feeling, or in my mind, this is how I'm perceiving this, just to basically formulate an understanding, give that client the comfortability that, hey, I am listening, I'm on track, I'm following what you're saying, but I just want to make sure we're both on the same page. Another skill was attentive silence. So with attentive silence, this is the time that they're listening, they're processing all of the emotions, all their feelings, the gestures that that client is giving off to help prepare the next question throughout that session. And those are some of the skills I noticed. Also, another skill was patience. They had patience. They wasn't rushing to get an answer. They let the client be genuine and take the time to think and express how they truly feel, which helped them progress through their complete session. What differences and similarities did I note between the three counselors? Each counselor was different in their own way. I realized that some counselors, they made remarks as the client was talking, like, or I understand. And one counselor even was quiet and then waited to elaborate. I noticed that was different. I noticed the question structure was different, as whereas the counselor seemed to be prompting the client with the next question rather than the client going on and leading the conversation. The counselor was. And I realized that in the second video, I felt as though the counselor was guiding the client through the session with her questions and then elaborating after the questions was asked, rather than in the other two videos, I felt as though the client was able to lead the conversation with their emotions, with their feelings, and then that guided the next question without the counselor having to necessarily prompt them. What questions do I have about the counseling session, or how skills are used? I never really understood the check understanding until I read deeper into it. I thought it was more so just bringing everything back together, in which it is, but it also helps the counselor stay on pace. So my thing is, how would you have this check for understanding skill if you have a client that may not elaborate their feelings well, may not be able to tell you how they're feeling during that situation or what truly happened? How do you communicate that with a client that is silent? Thank you. Have a great one.